The attempted cancellation, demonetization, deplatforming, whatever you want to refer to it as, against certain content creators in the media critique sphere, obviously and completely failed. Last time we talked about this, the coordinated attempt, which, thank God, our critics, our opposition, are so egotistical and idiotic, where they're just going to go ahead and lay out their plans for you to just simply point back to and criticize at your own leisure. They just refuse to take the L for the fact that the perceived chuds, people that are more successful than you on social media, because at the end of the day, that's what this all boils down to, and we've got several examples of that. I don't like to pull that card, but when they make it so patently obvious, like I said, they lay everything out because they're so used to getting exactly what they wanted, which is exactly what they got in regards to Lucasfilm, current modern day Star Wars, with the culmination of that being the Acolyte. Oh, it's not made for you. It's just like that conversation that's running around right now on social media, which I might be talking about in greater depth later this week. Perhaps we'll see what eventually comes out of it. But it's the back and forth in regards to the Minecraft movie that's going out right now, and I gave my 2 cents on that trailer and just how horrific it looks. I've said that, it's probably going to make a lot of money. It's Minecraft after all, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table by just how horrific that trailer looks. And given a little bit of time over the weekend, not entirely sure that that's not going to be the last time we need to talk about that, in so much as the culture war lines are being drawn on that, because journalists in general once again show that they cannot take an L by taking the harsh stance that, all of those man babies have their panties in a bunch because, it's not made for you. Where have we heard that conversation? Where have we heard that talking point before? Oh, right. Every other bomb that we see coming on the horizon, whether it immediately detonates or it takes a couple of iterations, eventually it's all going to turn to crap. Like the way that the Star Wars community, all of those toxic fans that needed to be deplatformed because they had the audacity to criticize a show that was horrifically written, but because it had a non-binary, non-white female lead, everybody hated it, which is so funny because you have a picture of one of the most respected and lauded characters in all of Star Wars canon, with Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia, and when she passed back in 2017, there was nothing but adoration for her, in spite of her personal shortcomings, in spite of her long and winding relationship with the Star Wars fandom. Everybody put that aside and celebrated her life. Hell, just take a look at what has happened in the past 24 hours with the unfortunate passing of James Earl Jones, arguably the guy whose picture is in the dictionary next to the description for voice actor. Like, I understand, yeah, he was in Coming to America, okay, Thulsa Doom, and Conan the Barbarian. Great actor in his own right, but is 2 seminal roles, being the voice of Mufasa in arguably the greatest animated film of all time, in The Lion King, and also a little-known role that you might have heard of before, Darth Vader. How many of those racist, bigot chuds out there are just dunking on James Earl Jones right now in his passing? Absolutely nobody. That's why all of these attacks, all of these accusations of racism and sexism never stick. They always fall eventually on deaf ears because there's no basis to them, because it's written by idiots and malcontents like Rachel Leishman, the moron who had the audacity to go to Gary from Nerdrotic and claim that he was a fake Doctor Who fan. I beg your pardon? Shill that goes out there and says that, oh, you're a fake Star Wars fan. You're rage baiting, but then at the same time sells out her remaining credibility for a one-on-one interview with Leslie Headland. I mean, it's always projection with these people. When is it not projection with these people? Let's just do a little bit of recap here to begin with. A major issue with the Star Wars fandom is platforming of sexist, racist trolls parading themselves as fans of a franchise. Show us your Star Wars stuff. I've made it loud and clear before whenever I talk about this stuff. I'm not deep into the EU, okay? I haven't seen 3 of the 9 mainline releases, haven't seen Rogue One or solo, watched a lot of coverage on Mandalorian Season 2 and 3, Book of Boba Fett. I've lived vicariously through EFAP and other reviewers in regards to the Disney Plus shows, so I've seen them probably more than Rachel has, in clip and review form. Same goes with, I guess, the sequel trilogy, but yeah, I've watched the OT and I've watched the prequels a handful of times, and I like them well enough. I honestly don't know if she could earnestly say the same. But it's everybody else who's trolls and fake fans. These men pretend they're horrific and disgusting takes her just concern over the stories. Yeah, just pointing out how bad the writing is obviously a racist, sexist dog whistle. Sure, now fans of Star Wars are calling out YouTube for not demonetizing them. Like, it's hilarious, right? You don't like what the big company's putting out. You voice your criticism. Ergo, your livelihood should be destroyed because of that. Why? Oh, because we're the shills that take the money from the company. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, we went over the rewriting Ripley stuff, who put out the big hit piece trying to link Gary, Nerdrotic, Brian Kinnelar, Outpost, Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy, in with Milo Yiannopoulos and what happened in 2016, Ghostbusters and Leslie Jones, even if you go and you remember that time, or if you go back and take a look at the evidence, there's no real targeted harassment. There's no calls of coordinated harassment there at all whatsoever. It was Milo memeing around, and Twitter, under different ownership at the time, obviously stamping him out as a result. But if that's the best you got, that's an obvious reason why your cancellation and your campaign failed. And then in the aftermath, then you had all the bad faith actors come out and just, lay out their game plan. Yeah, this was a coordinated attack. Yeah, we've been false flagging channels for a long time. I beg your pardon. You're going to have the audacity to try to complain to YouTube's manager to make sure that these guys don't have the opportunity to pay their bills, aren't compensated for their hard work on social media, motivated out of sheer jealousy, sheer spite, because the rest of these hacks aren't anywhere near as successful, aren't anywhere near as engaging as anyone else on their hit list. They just simply want to drag down everyone else to their level because hate has no home here. Like, I don't understand. They all just subsist in a double-digit IQ mindset and live simply by the talking points of even lesser minds. One of the many tweets that helped amplify this false flagging demonetization campaign from this Brooks, whatever. One is morally bankrupt grifter cashing in on hate. I don't even know what that term means anymore when they use it. But if you're going to say the likes of Gary, Jeremy, and Ryan are grifters in regards to Star Wars, I mean, Ryan has the most comprehensive encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars history and lore than anybody else on the platform. So grifting, maybe we're using different terminology here, okay? One is passionate about franchise they love. The other one has critiques, ergo they're not valid in their ability to be on platform. Oh, okay, I understand where we're going with this one. Yeah, just compare the most recent video and it tells you all you need to know. I support Alex and Molly 100%. Star Wars Explained and Molly Damon. Molly Damon, well, that's an interesting one because now she's running a tale of, oh yeah, no, I didn't start it. No, I didn't do, no, I wasn't a part of any of these campaigns. No, not me. No, I didn't do anything. The amount of backpedaling here is hilarious. Molly Damon, you're a pathetic liar who participated in a targeted harassment campaign set on destroying other creators' livelihood. You just embarrassed yourself. You got caught, you got called out, and they have grounds to take legal actions against you. Grow up and get help. Yeah, no, exactly. That Star Wars girl nails it on that one. And yeah, Molly Damon's response to all of this stuff after, her failed attempts to get Ryan, Gary, and Jeremy deplatformed, to demonetize. Thank you for all the love and support over the past few days, because that's ultimately what she wants. It really means a lot. I never started any sort of campaign. Nobody claiming that you did, but you were fully participating in it, okay? Just because people didn't start the Third Reich doesn't mean that they don't need to be held accountable for their actions. Any sort of campaign. I just agreed with and shared 2 images that were created. Just 2 images. You remember the ones that just fully detailed a list of demands and pseudo evidence that was required for YouTube to take action based on. Just images, though. And shared first by another podcast who I guess want to remain anonymous in all of this. Oh, rewrite rewriting Ripley, who were fervent in blasting those demands and then followed it up with an edited video and then tried and did get the attention of Team YouTube, only to get smacked down so hard, even Ike Turner is blushing. But love y'all. Anyway, I had a great workout today, and I don't care. You turned off your replies. It doesn't matter. This is the quality. This is the quality of detractor that's out there. And those two images that's right there, right? And you got this disingenuous fun guy who loves Star Wars. If you're a follower of EFAP, you probably know that this is the same guy who also recently tried to get Mueller deplatformed, so go to hell. Hard reminder that the campaign that so many people are sharing isn't to unjustly deplatform / demonetize people simply for having a different opinion or condoning censorship for the same reason, but rather because they have spouted hateful rhetoric and targeted harassment for both actors of various shows and certain fans. Where, Jacob? Just simply point. We know that you're good at doing that. Just simply point to one of the examples. Or even with your goofy-ass TikTok editing, feel free to just cut something together as out of context as rewriting Ripley did. Feel free. This has been happening for years now, and you've also been creating content for years, and outside of getting the attention of Lucasfilm and Disney for your shill capacities, haven't really mustered much for yourself. Strange, huh? Has done nothing, despite it being a clear violation of their terms of service, says the guy spreading a coordinated attack to get people deplatformed and demonetized. Very smart individual. Oh, and he turned off replies. Go figure. Every single person trying to act like there is no proof of this is either too deeply involved in the channel and said rhetoric to recognize this, or simply too busy sharing the same memes from 2016 with in the replies of people simply sharing a graphic with proof, examples in it. Well, you haven't provided anything, but, feel free to project. Now, there is so much blatant proof. See, there's so much, it's just so self-evident. That's why I don't need to back up any of my claims. And going to more than half of the people's accounts asking for it shows they don't realize that they're part of the problem. Oh, right, because a bunch of freaks online say you're a bad person, and therefore the burden of proof is on the accused, not the accuser. That's not how this shit works, you round-headed soy boy. Or maybe they do and are just too cowardly to admit it. Ow. Pot, kettle, black. Also, to everyone mad about the people that locked the replies and muted these posts, it's because the channels being called out in question have a very large audience. Yeah, see, that's exactly why you do it. That will jump to defend them at any chance by all shouting the same things. That you don't have any evidence? Yeah, imagine that. You get greeted with the same response time and time again, and you think everybody else is wrong. But then you also think that there's power in numbers because all of you freaks got together. And instead of putting your own ideas out there, instead of putting your own content for the world to judge for itself, you can't stand that other people are succeeding where you are failing. These type of people, right, who say that, no, I don't want these NPC people kissing up to these channels by saying the same things over and over again in my replies. That's why I turned off the replies, not because I was getting absolutely destroyed, simply because, the fans of those other channels are just as toxic as the creators themselves. They think in terms that the world is a pie, okay? It's a big attention pie on social media. There's a finite amount of resources. There's finite amount of eyeballs that are out there, and to a certain extent, well, that's true. There's only a certain number of minutes in the day, certain number of videos that people will watch on any given platform. I understand from that perspective. But also, if your content's worth watching, and as long as YouTube isn't suppressing it, which I've been having to deal with over the past month. It's hilarious. Just a bit of an aside here. I've just been pushing through in these past couple of weeks in spite of YouTube completely and totally putting their foot on my throat. And then within the past 24 hours, they just decided to let off a little bit. And yeah, views are returning back to normal for absolutely no reason. I don't understand this at all whatsoever, but instead of me complaining and trying to get other people in this space taken down, I just write it out. I just continue to do better because I'm not one of these narrow-minded mental midgets that are out here who think that, oh no, if somebody else is doing better, that means that they're stealing food off of my plate. No, bro, there's plenty of food to go around. We can all eat if we make compelling content. That's it. You complain about somebody else? Oh, guess what? You don't like what they're putting on out there? It's a very wonderful thing that social media affords you to do. They afford you this wonderful tool called a fucking X button. You can get the fuck out of a video if you don't want to watch it anymore. Big shock on that one. You don't like what somebody's doing? You don't pay attention to it. And especially on YouTube, you can not recommend this channel, you can not like this video, and you can go the fuck somewhere else. It's a big shock to some of these people, but no, they need to get them removed and deleted, because if they could achieve, and I think about this quite a bit, because whenever I see these big coordinated attacks, I always just try to war game it out. What if they eventually did get exactly what they wanted? What if all dissenting opinions just eventually got taken down off the platform? Nobody was allowed to make money except for these cretins that are out there that just simply push positivity. Everything's great. You know what? This is the best Star Wars since the last best Star Wars. And this current best Star Wars will only be the best Star Wars until the next best Star Wars comes out. Because this is an asshole who has been pushing the idea that, oh, Acolyte is going to be peak fire, bro. It's the best thing since the last best thing. He was trying to hype up his audience when the first trailer came out, when everybody was like, okay, why is the first line, close your eyes and what do you see? And then they show a Greedo looking alien in the background who doesn't have eyelids, and it's like, oh god, there's not going to be a big attention to writing in this show. What if everything was just this antidepressant wonderland where nobody ever feels bad feelings, everybody just simply subsists on positive emotions, we just glide through society? What would that actually look like if they got exactly what they wanted? It wouldn't be George Orwell's 1984, where Big Brother is just over the top of everything, telling you that the party knows exactly what you want and this is what you're going to do. It's going to look a lot like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, where everything is just the feelies. You go to the cinema, you turn on your TV, you just get this vacuous entertainment that doesn't have any staying power, but it makes you feel like you really took in something. It's like kind of sound like the current entertainment that's going on right now, where it's only perceivable in the moment. Any long-term relevance just simply not there. Like, honestly, like I said, like outside of me, who goes back and, you know, gets my references straight when it comes to, well, talking Star Wars and watching all of those reviews for all of those previous crappy shows, how many people are earnestly going back and watching Mandalorian Season 2? How many people remember the little baby Yoda puppet on obvious wheels getting pulled along by fishing line, waddling back and forth on the ice planet after Mando was done frying some cave spiders? Or outside of just, you know, maybe getting a screenshot of the cringe from Book of Boba Fett with the Vespa speeders? How many people are going back and watching Tamora Morrison take on Machamp out there in the desert? They're the people that are supposed to shepherd us into the future because they're positive, because they have the right opinions. Yeah, I doubt it. And they hate and they hate and they hate and they hate, but then they claim that you're the ones that are doing the hate. And the moment that they see somebody else who they used to consider a friend, somebody else who used to cheer on the stuff until the moment where they just went a little bit too far. Lucasfilm just shat on one too many legacy characters, and then they wake up a little bit, and then they break free of the programming and start to criticize the writing for crap that it's always been. Then they turn on them with the fury of 1,000 suns, and we're seeing that right now with Star Wars Theory. Now, he was wrapped up a little bit in the rewriting Ripley coordinated attack. There were a couple of clips of his shown, but realistically, he sat backseat on this stuff, mostly because I guess the rest of these cretins were just going to go ahead and leave it in the hands of another big Star Wars creator to try to take him down. Because here you have one of the many death threats or death well wishes in regards to Theory, okay? Talking about how we should, you know, just curl up into a bathtub and take care of business, not by crossing the street, but going up the road. Yeah, that's the kind and tolerant Star Wars fan. That's probably somebody who subscribes to J Suggs, right? Meanwhile, here's Theory's very biting and spite-filled commentary in regards to Star Wars. Trying to deplatform anyone over not liking a form of media is the most vile, disgusting act there is. Yo, calm down. To coordinate an attack like this, taking the innocent and creative life's work of someone and twist it to slander them to YouTube, calling for demonetization so that they cannot pay for their life, their family's life they care for, that their team's life and their team's families through a coordinated movement is bad faith, is unbelievably evil. I fell silent for years. Today I speak, and if you come back with more, I have reserves that will devastate all of you. God will handle it from here. What is he talking about specifically? Well, he's talking about this, and this video went up, oh Lord have mercy, earlier this week. Was it Sunday or Monday? I caught wind of this stuff, right? But Star Wars Explained, another big Star Wars-ish YouTube channel, which Alex and, Molly Damon, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how she gets looped into this one? Tried to demonetize theory. That's interesting, and well, we got a little clip here. She's $1.20. We might as well let her play on this one, because I could just go ahead and summarize this for you, or we could just go ahead and play it right here, because, well, I think it's important. I think it's important to get all the context here.
Act like they're so inclusive, but as soon as you say something that they don't like or agree with, they're going to try and strip you and rip you of everything that you hold near and dear, everything that you've worked so hard for. If you can't join them, get rid of them or something like that. Or if you can't beat them, kill them. No, man, there is no beat. You know, I don't remember you guys ever joining my charity stream to raise over, was it $70,000 for St. Jude's in one stream? You know who did join that stream? Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Ryan. Where were the other Star Wars?
Oh, right, the bad guys who just hate all the time. Oh, interesting.
YouTubers, you guys didn't give a shit. I literally put out a tweet saying that anybody can join. I want this for the good of the kids. Y'all didn't join. Eckhard, freaking Star Wars Explained. Nobody. The only ones that joined were those guys. Did you go ahead and do a charity of your own for kids? No. You just sit around and bitch and whine about, oh, Star Wars Theory is doing this, he's doing that. Oh, This Week in Clickbait, we're going to make merch out of it. We're going to sell merch. You know that.
And then also leak behind-the-scenes conversations and twist them and publish them out of context, which is exactly what Theory put in his video there. But anyways.
There are people in your Patreon that literally pay just to feed me information of the shit that you say about me.
Oh,
the amount of eyes that I have everywhere in groups that you think are private, with people you think that you know. I see, I watch, and I ain't gonna leak anything, man. All I need to know is who I associate myself with, who I trust when they come to me. I want to be friends and this and that and all. This is like fake shit. It's all politics at this point.
Yeah, no, that's the sad and unfortunate thing about this, because when it's all said and done, this is critiquing media. I'm not going to just simply diminish this to the whole, we're just talking about stuff that's about space wizards swinging glow sticks in movies and TV shows intended for children. No, that's all foolish. That's foolish commentary that really minimizes and deflects from the actual points. Entertainment is very important. The subversion of said entertainment is important to point out and critique, because stories is the way that human beings, that society, have extolled virtues and kept memories alive for generations. The moment that perversion can no longer be called out is the moment that we start to lose what it intrinsically means to have a shared history, to have a collective imagination. Because some of that isn't all nice and it doesn't make you feel good all the time. Doesn't mean that pointing that out should be off limits. And so when you attack people that you disagree with, go against their ideas, go against their examples, go against their evidence, you go against the person, you go against their platform. You know what that tells me? You know what that tells everybody else? You have a goddamn weak argument and you're an even weaker person. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.